got someone working back at the office right now, don't you? You have beautiful teeth. Beautiful teeth. Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's great to be with you on a Friday. My favorite day of the week is Friday. You know what? Every day of the week is my favorite because I am made my passion my profession. And I think when you do that as an entrepreneur and business owner, you do not work a single day in your life. Would I like to do other things? Absolutely. But for the most part, I talk to fabulous people like Crystal, who is coming up momentarily, about their trials, their tribulations, their successes, the positive experiences they have had as being an entrepreneur and business owner. And that's the kind of stuff that I love. I love to do it. I just really do. And I love to do it when it's tied to my favorite city in the world, Charlottesville, Virginia. We are a for-profit business with a social mission of leaving Charlottesville in a better place than when I first arrived in 2000 to attend the University of Virginia. That is literally our goals. Make money in an honest way and leave Charlottesville in a better place. That's what I Love CVille is all about. Let's thank some of the fantastic sponsors of this program. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Greenberry's Coffee. For roughly 30 years, Greenberry's Coffee has turned into a global business from Charlottesville. A husband and wife tandem used a beat-up Honda Civic and a roasting facility in the McIntyre Office Park and a retail location in Barracks Road Shopping Center. And now they have locations in Qatar, Japan, Saudi Arabia, soon to open in Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., and it started in Charlottesville. That is the stuff I love. I also love stories like Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. This guy started with one doctor, himself, and a couple front-of-the-house people. Now he has 5 doctors, owns the Quinn Farmer Auction House building, and is building a state-of-the-art practice and facility that you can only find in Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. You can tell I love positive business stories and entrepreneurs. We got people on the feed we want to thank. Quentin Johnson II, thank you for joining us. Brandon Ladd, Lauren Linsky, Andre Xavier, Stephen Lewis Warner, Tim, John, Judah, Harris. We're going to have a great show. Why don't we, at that point, welcome Crystal to the program and go to the two-shot, and let's welcome an entrepreneur that I'm so excited to welcome and introduce to you. First, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We were, had kind of an open casting calls, like we want entrepreneurs on the program. A number of people immediately suggested you, and then I found out you were coming on the show, and we started promoting you, and I've probably heard from 20, 25 different people about Crystal's awesome, she's a perseverer, she's a winner, she is someone that people look up to. I guess we'll start open-ended first. Crystal, who is Crystal the mom, the wife, the person, the entrepreneur, the business owner?
Wow, thank you. And that is just incredible to hear the great feedback that wonderful folks have given to you. Thank you. And thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, of course.
Who is Crystal? Well, as I was thinking about what I wrote you in our Facebook messaging about who I am, first off, I am super excited to be a new mom of a darling 3-month-old boy. Awesome. His name is Micah. I'm the wife of Sean Napier. He is a Marine Corps veteran.
Awesome.
A very hardworking gentleman and is so supportive of what I do. And then I'm the business owner of Renee's Boutique, which I started back in 2014.
That's awesome.
Actually, yeah.
A proud University of Virginia, Wahoo.
Yes, I am a Wahoo.
Nelson County governor, graduated from Nelson County High School.
Nelson County is my hometown.
How about the matriculation from Nelson County High School to UVA? How hard? How difficult? Was it easy? Was it a no-brainer choice? A lot of folks are like, I got to get away from mom and dad and start life all over. For me, I grew up in Williamsburg. Had an opportunity to go to William & Mary.
Okay.
But William & Mary was too close to mom and dad. I wanted the fresh start. I went to UVA. Best decision I ever made. Now, William & Mary and Williamsburg are much closer than Nelson County and Charlottesville.
Yes.
So you had some breathing room. Put into perspective your thoughts there as a senior going to college.
So since I was from Nelson County, actually a lot of folks didn't believe that I was going to get into UVA.
Interesting.
Even though, academically, I was doing very well as a student, always have did well, but they thought that UVA was a little too big for me to go to
Really?
from being from a small county school. Absolutely.
Well, how did you take that? Were you like, what are you talking about? I can do whatever I want.
Well, I was very blessed with a wonderful father who always encouraged us to do whatever we wanted to put our minds to. So he was my biggest advocate into applying to UVA, and all of the larger schools I applied to. Actually, I was blessed to get into all of them.
Good for you.
But I decided to go to UVA because it was, of course, this is a top Ivy League school.
Sure.
And even though it is close to home, I love my family, and I just have incredible parents who were very encouraging. I didn't mind being close by to them. My father actually worked right on Barracks Road.
Cool.
So I could actually go and have lunch dates with him, which I did often. So it was a great transition for me. I was a part of a program that brought the students in early to kind of adjust to college life that summer before I came to UVA. So that was very helpful. And Dean Gutman, I believe, was the lady that was over that program. And so she was a really good advocate to have, and also Dean Valerie Gregory were very instrumental in helping me to navigate through UVA when I first got there and make that transition.
Good, and we got people saying, giving you props. Kim Lewis says, hey, Crystal.
Hey, Kim.
What's up, Kim
Hey,
Lewis?
friend.
Like the feed, guys. Share the feed. Let's get a positive attention on Crystal and Renee's boutique, and how we do that is by liking and sharing this feed. Kim Lewis, I see you. Thank you for supporting us, Kim Lewis.
Thank you, Kim. She's a fabulous client of mine and a very good friend. Yeah,
you have a lot of friends.
I do.
You are very fortunate. I noticed that when talking about you coming on. I think the dean, her first name was Carol Gutman, I believe.
Yes.
From the Curry School of Education, where she was actively involved.
Yes.
She was amazing.
She absolutely
she was so approachable and so easy to talk to about anything. I had many interactions with her. Initially, it was because I went into UVA partying too much, and she said, come into my office, Jerry, you need to get back on track.
Gotcha.
So that's how I know Carol Gutman, okay? Now that I've told everybody. Let me throw the Nelson County piece to you. Is it not, when you were rising through the ranks, so that was what, 2000, did you graduate from?
I graduated in 2001.
2001. Mm-hmm. Was it not, was the school not saying, encouraging folks to go to UVA, or was it seen as like a school, kind of small school, and UVA is too big for the kids that go here?
Not all of the students received that feedback. And actually, there was another young lady who actually went to UVA with me from Nelson County that was very encouraged to apply to UVA, but they thought it would be too overwhelming for me.
Why? I don't get it.
How do you put this?
Put it any way you want, yeah.
I think as an African American student at that time,
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I truly believe that's where it came from. And that just kind of goes to show you that in our educational system, we do need more positive role models, and also teachers to encourage our students that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and to reach those heights, because there are teachers and counselors out there that will kind of discourage our students from, I guess, utilizing their best potential, I guess is the best way to put it. But there were, I can't say that was the consensus from all of the folks in Nelson County, because I had a wonderful teacher. I believe he's retired now, but Mr. Barton was a huge advocate of me applying to UVA, as well as my own guidance counselor, Miss Shelby Young. Actually, we're still connected through Facebook. So they were big encouragers, and also Shelby Young actually helped me apply for several scholarships that allowed me to go to UVA without my parents having to pay a dime except for my books.
Get out of town, so you got that?
Yes.
God, props to you, girl. That is so awesome.
Yes.
Let's turn that into a highlight reel, because that is that's maybe your first success story.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Wait, so, I mean, did it upset you?
Of course.
Yeah, put it in
course.
perspective. How did it? I bet it motivated you.
Oh, absolutely. It made me very determined, and I actually applied to UVA early decision.
Me too.
Is what? Okay.
Yeah. Did you get in early?
I sure did.
Me too.
I sure did.
Made things a lot easier.
And what was shocking to everyone is that the other young lady that had most of the support from the school, she did not. She got deferred to regular decision.
I take it she was white?
Yes.
God, this bothers me.
Yeah.
And why it bothers me is, and this has come up on other shows, I'm a son of an immigrant. My mom and her parents, Mima and Papi, came from Cuba, and they had to leave, a couple of weeks, I think it was about a month before Castro and his dictatorship took over Cuba. And they went from a middle, upper-class lifestyle in Cuba to Papi coming to Miami and becoming a ditch digger, and Mima coming to Miami from Cuba and becoming a hotel maid, and my mom being put in the 3rd grade, not being able to speak English. And I still get choked up about this today. She said kids were so mean to her because they were literally coming up to her and like saying the meanest things to her, and she couldn't understand them.
Wow.
And when she tells the story today, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway, I just don't understand how like people that are like, and we're spitballing, we're just talking here, people that are instructed or like pretty much their career and their job is to help influence the next generation and help make them better than their current generation. Mm-hmm. And for people to have that kind of mindset, it's just frustrating to me. For me, I don't care if someone is Latin, African American, if someone has a Native American background, if someone is from the Middle East, if they're doing good things in Charlottesville, we're going to talk about them.
Absolutely.
And is it changed, do you think?
The mentality of Nelson?
Yeah.
Well, Emma Wardlaw, who's actually an in-law of mine, she became the principal of Nelson County High School. I don't know the years, but it was after I graduated. And wow, she really turned some things around for Nelson County.
That's awesome.
And Nelson County actually started to rank very high in the state as a school overall. So that was pretty powerful to see her, go into that role. And she had her battles with that as well, but she was able to turn things around. And I do believe that it has changed. I have 2 younger brothers who actually went through Nelson County, and they went to private colleges, Bridgewater and Randolph-Macon.
You got some smart family right there, don't you?
We're a very blessed family. Our parents have always encouraged us to work extremely hard and treat people with respect as well. I just listening to your story of your mother, we have to just all remember that we're all humans. Regardless of what race that we were born with, we have to get back to realizing that we're all humans and having compassion for each other as humans.
I love that. Can we sizzle reel that, Harris? That was fire right there. That was so good. It comes down to me just the golden rule. Like, it's so obvious. I guess I could tell it's so obvious to you. We put our pants on, all of us, one leg at a time.
Yes.
We're all the same person. Treat others like you want to be treated yourself, and the world is a better place. Yet, for some reason, some of us do not do that.
Yes.
And I think another thing that's really helped Nelson County is you have the tax revenue that comes from Wintergreen. You have the tax revenue that are coming from the vineyards and the breweries that is now being funneled into the school system that maybe that revenue was not there in place when you were coming.
No.
So now I drive by the school and it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks like
Absolutely.
new. It looks shiny. I mean, are you seeing that changing the school system?
Oh, absolutely. I was actually fortunate because we still attend a church there. White Rock Baptist Church is our home church, so we go there every week. And one of the girls plays basketball for Nelson County High School, and I went to her game a few weeks ago, and it was just like, wow, this is not the place that I went to school. They've really transformed things, and I do believe that they're changing things. But like every place, they still have work to do,
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. How about your time at UVA? What do you remember from being, 18 to 22, super impressionable, walking around arguably one of the best universities in the world,
Yep.
On grounds? I mean, I remember walking around my first year up and down the lawn, and this was like after Walter Cortez Cinemas and Art Forums class. And we got out late. We had just watched a movie, and I'm walking up and down the lawn, and I'm like, man, this is pretty surreal. This is where TJ, and this is amazing. This is like, it kind of set in, and I'm like, I'm at UVA here. Any moments like that? What are the memories you have from your time as a student at the university?
You know, I really didn't appreciate UVA until one day my dad came to campus and we had lunch, and I was walking him around and showing him where my classes were, and I remember he got emotional and said, you know, he used to call me Chris. He said, Chris, you just don't know how blessed you are. He was like, this is an incredible experience, and I hope that you feel how blessed you are to be able to do this, because I didn't have that opportunity. And so that kind of changed my perspective, because I was so in the weeds. I was so worried about my academics when I was at UVA, and just trying to stay afloat, that I didn't take the time to appreciate that, oh, I'm actually in one of the top universities.
You belong.
In the nation.
You earned it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was, that part was very cool. But while I was also there, I do remember the incident with Daisy Lundy when she was running for student president. And
put that in perspective for everybody.
So Daisy Lundy was running for student council president, and she was, I believe, the first person of color that tried to run for that position, and she was harassed. I don't know if they ever found.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But assumingly it was assumingly it was supposed to be some frat boys at
fraternity.
UVA, that were trying to scare her
right.
from this position, and how they, I believe, they assaulted her one night, and I remember that we did a silent march in protest of that racism, and just standing up for, you know, her right to run. I mean, it wasn't even that she had gained office yet.
Right.
She was just running.
Right.
So it just opened my eyes as a young adult of the hate.
Is that the first time you saw it?
Up close,
yeah,
and in person, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, and I remember when it first happened, the incident happened. I was so outraged, and you're gonna hear me talk about my dad a lot because he was my best friend and my advisor, and my mom as well. And I called my parents and I was like, yeah, this happened, and you know, what are y'all gonna do? And my dad, he told me, this was another grow up moment. He said, I'm not gonna do anything, Crystal. He said, this is your fight. He said, you know, you're a grown person now. It's time for you all. You all are the brightest minds in the world to step up and do something and stand up. He said, I had my, you know, I was protesting in the civil rights movement. He said, this is y'all's time.
Your dad's the man.
Yeah.
And then how did you respond? I mean, that's some good advice.
Yeah.
That's like, go figure it out.
It shocked me because it was like, you know, this is dad.
Yeah.
You know, dad is supposed to.
Now he's treating you like an adult.
Yeah. Like, and so it forced me to kind of grow up and say, okay, well, how am I going to get involved? And I remember Dean Rick Turner was actually over the Office of African American Affairs.
And also head of NAACP local chapter.
Yes,
Dean Emmerich Turner. Very influential individual. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. He is. And so I remember his office, we gathered as students and we decided to do the silent march. And I remember it being posted in the Cavalier Daily.
I remember that.
So, yeah.
So we overlapped by 3 years, 05 for her. That was shocking. It was shocking, and interestingly as well for me, UVA was the first time that I also had seen racism. And where I saw it was in the fraternity system. So I was a Phi Kappa Psi, which is the house that is the end of the Mad Bull. Phi Kappa Psi was the house that got caught up in the shambles of the Rolling Stone story. And all that proved to be not true. And where I'm going with this is like, I think it was maybe my third year, and I just started realizing, I'm like, why is the Greek system and fraternity life just white folks? You know, why is there no diversity? Why are there no Latin folks? Why are there no African American folks? Why are there no Asian folks here? Any reason why? Do you know? I mean, that's like an anthropological study by itself.
Yeah.
You know, what are your thoughts?
So when it comes to the Greek life, I remember I was approached by the Deltas to
join?
pledge. Yeah. I'm just not that individual.
Yeah.
So
you're like, I don't need to buy my friends.
Pretty much.
Is that what it was?
I can appreciate that they have a great networking aspect. I have two cousins that are diehard Deltas, and that networking has helped them tremendously. So I'm sure it works for some people, but I'm just not that person to participate in it. So I don't really have a clue of why it's not more diverse. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of peeps giving you props here. Sean Napier.
That's my husband.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey,
he
babe.
says, hey, Crystal. Adam Crouch.
Oh,
giving you some love.
yes, I went to school with him.
Era
Hey,
Black Eagle.
Era Black Eagle.
Giving you some props.
Yes,
It says your dad gave you really, really good advice. I love it.
Yes.
Derek Howard.
Awesome.
Hey, Crystal.
That's my cousin.
Gail
Yes.
Esterman.
Yes.
She says, hi, Crystal.
Hey,
You
Gail.
got some friends right here. Guys, like and share the feed. Let's get the positive spotlight on
everyone.
Crystal
Thank
and Renee's
you.
boutique.
Thank you.
How about the migration then from the bubble, which is what we call our time at UVA,
Yes.
to real life outside
Real
the
life,
bubble?
yes.
Put that in perspective.
Yes.
What happened? How'd it go down?
So while I was at UVA, I was working part-time as a teller for Bank of America.
That's where I know you from.
Okay.
Okay.
All
I think
right.
that might be.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting ADD right now.
That's fine. And I went into the banking industry while I thought I was going to go to law school. So I decided I'm going to take a year off, work, and take the LSAT, and I'm going to go to law school.
Okay.
Yeah, I bombed the LSAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not your thing?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. So I continued to work and got wrapped up in the banking industry. I was in banking management for 10 years.
Okay. Locally?
Yes.
Okay.
I managed the Bank of America on Barracks Road for, 5 years.
And that's a behemoth. You're busy constantly there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And then I went to BB&T, and that is where my banking career ended, and I transitioned into entrepreneurship.
That's awesome.
Each experience taught me something to bring me to this moment where I'm at. Banking actually allowed me to pay for grad school because I went to Liberty to get my MBA, and that's where I wrote the first practice business plan for Renee's boutique.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You have an MBA?
Yes.
You are such a badass.
Thanks,
I'm giving
Jerry.
you props. You being undergrad MBA from Liberty, and then you write that you put the business model in place. I'm assuming this is for a graduate studies course. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got it.
So you put the plan in place. What are you thinking when you're putting this plan in place?
So the challenge, the assignment was to write a business plan of a business that we're passionate about.
Okay.
And something that you typically would just work for free for. And that took me a while because I'm like, I don't believe in working for free.
Right. Yeah, neither do I.
I stopped the government shutdown. But yeah, I thought about it for a long time, and I woke up one morning and went to my closet, and it hit me. I was like, okay, it's closed. Like, this is what I do on a daily basis with helping my family, helping my coworkers.
Uh-huh.
You know, since I was in management, you had to make sure that your staff was looking appropriately, and banks typically require you to dress professionally.
Sure.
So this was something that I consistently coached people on and helped people with. And my friends and family would always call me up and say, hey, Crystal, what should I wear to this event and that event? And I was like, oh, that's it. I need to start a boutique. And the hardest part, the challenge that I saw in this industry was that as a curvy woman, as a curvy career woman, I would literally have to plan out different times of the year that I could go to Williamsburg, to the outlets,
prime outlets,
to shop and get affordable quality career clothing. And so I started researching that industry. And I actually was, one of my clients was Minda's Boutique.
Yeah. In Ivy,
Yes.
the Ivy shops at Ivy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
She's
so
like a pioneer in this.
Minda is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I love what she's doing. And so I started talking to her about her story, and she just started to encourage me as a young woman to go in business for myself.
That's awesome.
And so BB&T actually went through a round of layoffs. And
All the banks are. Yeah.
And I, of course, was one of the ones. And I said, and my husband said, well, are you going to start your business? Because at first I'm looking for
A gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, are you going to start your business? He said, it's now or never. And
Good
I said,
guy.
You're right. You're right. And so hence here I am, Renee's Boutique.
That's amazing. Do you have stuff or a branding element in Minda's Boutique right now?
I don't.
Okay.
Not right now. So what Minda and I have did, because she's been a great mentor for me. I used to consign some of her things because I was traveling doing pop-up shops. I'm going all up and down the East Coast.
Got it.
So I was actually keeping her merchandise as well. But now everything in Renee's Boutique is either a part of our custom line or just resale from other designers.
I love it. I love it. Lee Hughes, thank you for joining us. James Watson, thank you for joining us. Lauren Linsky, thank you for joining us. Kim Lewis again. Renee's Boutique is the best boutique ever. I love that, Kim Lewis. You're a good friend.
She's one of the great models on my website,
Is
too.
she?
Oh, yes.
Kim
Oh,
Lewis,
yes.
thank you for supporting us. Fernando Garay sharing the feed. Sam King sharing the feed. Sam, we love you, Sam. We love you, love you, love you on the show.
Thank you.
Alicia Anderson
Yes.
supporting you right now. Derek
Thank
Howard,
you.
like we mentioned. Gail Esterman, all over the feed.
So Derek Howard, that's my cousin.
Okay.
He actually helped me create my logo.
Really?
Yes. So
Okay.
he helped me establish my brand. So.
Let's talk about the support you get from your husband. You said he is from the Marine Corps. So anybody that knows anyone from the Marine Corps knows when you have a Marine on your side, you have someone for life on your side.
Absolutely.
And I get that's the impression you have with your husband.
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Sean.
Sean.
The encouragement he had to offer for you to jump into starting your own business. We all know 80% of small businesses fail in their first 3 years.
Yes.
We know starting boutiques, clothing, retail is brutal.
Oh, yes.
Especially with
Oh, yes.
Amazon and the
Yes,
internet.
yes.
Talk to me about the support you got from Sean, the family. Talk to me about the hurdle mentally you had to jump over of like, can I do this? Because when I'm talking with entrepreneurs like this, they all have a different like story where it's like, you know, I had to get over my fear of potentially failing. You know, people are like, I didn't want to look bad for anybody. And that kept me from launching my business because what if the business didn't work and then people would judge me? One guy literally said on the show is like, I didn't start my business because I knew I would have to update my social media with the job, and then everyone would know that I started a business, and what if it didn't work? It basically always comes back to the fear of failing.
Yes.
Did you have that at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think I can't say, you know, that I'm fully over that, you know, especially with last year, how it changed our lives so drastically.
Car accident?
Yes.
Okay, can we put the photos on screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, Harris, if you
Absolutely.
can call up the car accident photos, put in perspective what happened with the accident.
So he in 2017, my husband actually was on a 9-month deployment in Afghanistan for his job, and he came home in January of 2018, and we were, you know, carrying on. I had did really well in 2017, even though I was traveling a lot, doing the pop-up shops by myself. But we went to Atlanta, and the week after we came back from Atlanta, we're leaving church.
Okay.
And we actually were about to go tell our moms that we were pregnant. I was 6 weeks pregnant.
That's awesome.
And we're driving down 29. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Nelson County, Colleen, the little tasty freeze.
The ice cream cone.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah.
So we were right there going by that intersection.
Okay.
And a car, a little SUV, pulls right out and hits Sean, drives directly into his driver's side door.
T-boned him.
Yes. And the truck starts flipping.
And you're sitting shotgun?
Yes. The first flip, I was trying to brace myself for impact because I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna hit the ditch, and then the truck starts to go around again, and I'm like, oh, I said, Jesus, cover us. That's all I could get out, and we ended up on upside down. But we were so blessed that we were able to get out of the truck. And the other blessing was that 2 doctors were on their way back from North Carolina and were right there on the scene.
Stop.
So they were able to check me out because I'm freaking out. All I could think is
it's your baby.
The baby.
Yeah. You're 6 weeks pregnant.
Yes. But there were 2 doctors right there on the scene, and our pastor and first lady came to the scene, and then my mother-in-law came to the scene, and my aunt, and so everyone was around us, and luckily we were okay on the outside, but we had a lot of internal injuries, and my husband is actually still going through treatment from that, and I'm still doing it off and on with our back and our neck. So that impacted my pop-up shops because pop-up shops, I'm lifting racks, I'm lifting clothes, and a lot of my business revenue came from those pop-up shops. So last year I had to really shift to try to promote myself online, and you've already said it. Online business it's brutal. We're trying to compete with these huge names, and they have all of this money to throw at advertising, and you're just the small business. So this, and I'm pregnant, mind you, with the injuries. So it was just a challenging year, but lo and behold, every single day is a gift, and that's the way I look at it, and that's the way my husband has looked at it. So we have persevered, and I'm just really looking forward to this year of getting back on track, and promoting myself. Also doing more of the seminars that I teach instead of just the pop-up shops, because that's the part that I really love to do is coaching folks on styling and also presenting themselves so they can move forward with their career, their dreams. And so I'm hoping to do more so of that because I did it last year with the Virginia workforce. I was able to connect with Scott Treese, and he brought me in as the image consultant. And so not only am I coaching them on dressing for success, but providing interview tips for different interviews, whether it be a promotion or they're changing careers.
I love everything about what you just said. Let's give some props, guys, to Crystal. Let's like the feed right now and give some props to Crystal for that very open and honest answer. And Harris, I'd like for you to turn that into a sizzle reel, the entire start from the beginning of the accident to what she just finished right there. It was money. And Harris, if you can, I'm asking a lot from you, sir. I appreciate it. If you can, put the pictures of the accident back on screen here, and we can talk about it. Your baby was okay.
Yes.
You physically on the outside are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Had internal things that you're rehabbing and getting back on point. Mm-hmm. How about the mental side of like the PTSD of like we're looking at these right now on screen. This is a serious.
Yes.
The PTSD side, any?
So I remember that night when we got home from the hospital, I kept looking at the photos, and I just got so emotional because it hit me then after you see the photos and see what you walked away from and see how bad it could have been. And one of my cousins actually works for an insurance company, and she called me and she said, Crystal, I see these photos all of the time, and most of the people are casualties.
Right.
You are incredibly blessed, that you all were able to walk away from that. Mentally, it took me a while to drive, and that's that's the crazy part, because I mean, in 2017, I'm driving up to Massachusetts. I'm driving down to Georgia. Oh yeah, by myself. Like, and my mom and my mother-in-law, they kept telling me, I don't see how you just hop in the car and you just
go.
No choice. Yeah.
Right?
But now I'm a much more cautious driver. My husband, I think he has a little bit of reservations, but Sean is, Sean,
fearless. He's a Marine.
Yeah.
He's your rock.
Yeah, he went the very next day and drove to Nelson County to pick up our pup, because our pup wouldn't ride with anyone else. Because he was just like, hey, where's my mom and dad? They were supposed to come pick me up after church. What's going on?
You got a lot of people giving you props here. Is it Kunshing Sorrel Howard? Right here. She's saying, hey, sweetie, I'm very proud of you.
Kashina.
Okay.
Yes.
You got
very good family friends of us.
Sherry Orange Diva Thurston.
Hey,
She's
Sherry.
saying, hey, Crystal.
Hey, lady.
Guys, like the feed and share the stream. Let's get the positive spotlight on Crystal and Renee's boutique right here.
Sherry is my orange lady. She always hits me up and says, hey, what do you have in the orange? So.
And it's part of her Facebook name.
Yes.
So she must really like orange.
Yes,
We like you too, Sherry. When you have a moment in your life, and Corbett Snow, thank you for joining us. David Tuck, thank you for joining us. A.B. Moore, thank you for joining us. Steve Lewis Warner, we got a lot of people jumping on the stream right now. You have a lot of friends. It's very obvious.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you.
When you have a moment where you're like, when your friend that you trust saying to you, you probably should have died here. Mm-hmm. How does that change your viewpoint and your perspective on life in general?
It makes me value life. It truly makes me value life. And like I said, it made me realize that we can't take life for granted, that every single day that we are given by our Creator is a gift, and we have to seize the opportunity to do what we can in that day. So I would just say it made me cherish being here. And it also made me realize that, God must have a purpose for the Napiers, because he wouldn't have kept us here if he didn't. So
great answer. Sizzle Reel. See, you're so on point, Harris. You're so good, Harris. I love that, boy. Ivor Candy Dow says, I see you, Chris.
Hey, Candy.
Jay Small says, hey, Crystal, Jamal and I are watching. Love you and Sean. Aww. Thank you, Jay, for supporting the show. And Crystal, we appreciate you. A lot of people jumping on board here.
Thank
How
you,
about
Jay.
I'm getting a lot on the text too. How about did it change your business perspective?
Yes.
How?
It made me realize that you can't just have one stream of income when you're a small business owner, and it also made me really consider, putting some more insurance policies in place. I have a great financial advisor, and he had already mentioned about, make sure you have disability insurance, and, you're going to have to put these things in place as a small business owner. And it's some things that small business owners don't really think about, because, hey, I get it. You're trying to put every single dollar into making your business grow. Absolutely. Yeah. But it made me see the value in purchasing items like that, to cover yourself, to make sure that you're protected.
Good answer right there. Era Black Eagle, we value you, Crystal, and we are so happy you are still with us. You truly have an amazing story. Greg Bartlesky, thank you for joining us. Andre Xavier, thank you for joining us. Like and share this stream and get the spotlight on Crystal. How about when you had your son?
Yes.
I am 10 months in. My wife, who is watching now, and I would say this regardless if she was watching or not, is a superwoman. We are where we're at because of her.
Yes.
And the fact that she is willing to change so much of her life to be home with our little guy and still doing the work that she was doing around here, but doing it with like a 10-month-old crazy kid on her lap, trying to balance him, do the computer, do the receivables, do the payables, have a kid, feed him, and all that. It really changed my perspective, because we're a one-income family. Everything that's in this business determines our family, the food, the mortgage, everything. I'm curious to see how the birth of your firstborn changed not only your life and your perspective as an entrepreneur and businesswoman.
So Micah.
That's your son?
Yes.
Okay.
Micah is my son, my 3-month old son, and he's actually a miracle baby. That's another story in itself.
Besides the surviving of the
yes,
accident?
Yes.
What did he do?
So I was 1 day past due. I had a typical doctor's checkup. Went in for the checkup, and I told the doctor, I said, hey, my baby is not as active as he usually is. And I didn't think anything of it. I said, maybe because I haven't been feeling well, I'm thinking he might be sleeping. So she hooked me up to the monitor. They tried to get his heart rate to accelerate. His heart rate would not accelerate. She came back in and said they were going to induce my labor. And then she came back in 5 minutes later and said, hey, I'm going to just give it to you guys straight. We're going to have to do an emergency C-section. I don't think your baby's heart wouldn't make it through labor. No mother wants to hear that. And especially after 9 months I was sick the entire 9 months, just going through a pretty intense pregnancy. And so we had to do emergency C-section. They took me back, and I knew it was serious because, within minutes they had us prepped and ready to go. But thankfully, he was delivered and is a very healthy and strong, handsome little fella. But come to find out, he had tied a knot in his umbilical cord.
No.
So apparently he must have been doing flips in there.
The guy's smart.
Yes. But that, too, just changed my perspective of how fragile. Life is so fragile.
Yeah.
So now we have shifted. He's 3 months old. I'm trying to get back in the swing of my business. Luckily, I had already changed my business model because I had started off with a small storefront off on Water Street.
Okay.
And I changed my business model to be mobile and to do more online. So this has allowed me to be at home with him.
That's awesome.
But I also have some wonderful ladies that are family that have came in to help me out while I'm sorting out this scheduling and this balance of being a mom as well as entrepreneur.
And a businesswoman. How hard is that?
Yeah. Ask your wife. She's superwoman.
Oh my gosh.
I need to talk to her to get some tips because it's challenging, and I know that I'm just now starting to be in it. So while it is challenging, I'm still so blessed that I can do that because I know that there's a lot of moms out there that want to be with their babies, every single second of the day. So I'm very blessed that I get to be with them.
So well said. Sizzle reel that, please, Harrison. We got a lot of people giving you props here. Sarah Franco Torres, this is so amazing. Crystal, I am so proud of you.
Wow. Nelson County.
Nelson County Governors, baby.
Nelson County classmate. Yes.
Grace,
Thanks,
Rob,
Nelson.
Rick Henderson, Michael Jameson, Jeremy Stanwyck, Jonathan Galasso, Dan Bards, Meg Tyler, Elisa Anderson, Emily Campbell, Kim Lewis. You are a liked Frida Taylor. You're a liked
Nelson
person.
County.
Very, very obvious.
Please go shop Renee's, folks.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So, image. In a lot of ways, are you now like instead of you're a boutique owner, but it's even greater than that. You're like an image consultant. Mm-hmm. Is that how you see it?
That's absolutely how I see it.
So what you can do for people is help optimize and improve their personal brands.
Yes.
Because you understand that when your personal brand is buttoned up and looking the part, and I hate to say this, still people judge books by their covers.
Oh, absolutely.
And if the cover looks good, you're going to get opportunities than if the cover is not looking good.
Yep.
Put in perspective that.
Well, there's been studies that have proven that employers will make a decision whether they want somebody within the first 5 seconds of meeting them.
It's crazy.
So you only get one shot to make a first impression, and that's what I teach at the seminars. So make it impressionable, be unforgettable, stick out, but don't stick out so much where you become intimidating.
Right.
And so that's what I coach on. And we do that through our style, our expression of style. So what you wear on the outside is important, even though, I know there's folks out there that's like, oh no, I don't care what I put on, I just go out the house. But you're saying something, regardless if you want to or not. The way you dress, and your appearance, it speaks for itself, even if we don't want to. Unfortunately, that's
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Yeah, we're human beings. That's a sizzle reel right there. Yes. I want to, and Keith Smith, thank you for joining us. Sam, thank you for jumping on board. Lauren, thank you for jumping on board. Latasha Durrett Word gives you some big time props here on the show. Latasha? She says, I see you.
She just joined Piedmont Housing Alliance.
Oh, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
she can
she's
talk
from Nelson County. Yes.
You're a smart person.
Thank you.
I almost see the business, and I'm just spitballing with you. I love, you walked into an advertising agency. That's what we are first. And as the owner of an advertising agency, what I do my entire day is I sit across from CEOs and entrepreneurs and business owners. Maybe it's like the startup trying to go to market, or it's the small cap trying to get to mid cap. It's the $10 million business that wants to make 14 next year. And we're put strategies together for them to help achieve these goals and successes. Where I'm going with this is the owner of an advertising agency. You're essentially in a confessional for entrepreneurs. You hear the good, the bad, and the ugly of running a business, and you try to figure out how to make them better. So I'm going to spitball with you as just a guy that loves this stuff. I can see your image consulting business having these revenue streams. You have the clothing boutique, which is potentially as much a place for you to sell your clothes as it is a meeting place for you to have consultations with people, one-on-one meetings. You have the image and branding consultant revenue stream, where you can, at an entry point, help people from the outfits that they're going to wear to an interview standpoint. The next revenue stream could be tailoring the resume and helping them from a resume standpoint. A lot of people don't even know how to write a resume. I see so many resumes that I'm like, how am I supposed to hire you when your resume is like this? And then you take that resume, you optimize it. You could even take it a step further with saying, like, guys, did you know that people are looking at your social media before they hire you? Why don't we get these photos of you doing keg stands and partying with your shirt off your social media if you're trying to interview for a job? Do you see the business as the image consultant evolving like that, which would then keep you out of a very crowded space of having to compete against the Amazons and like the big time retailers online, where you're exactly right. Those folks are dropping billions of dollars in building a brand online, which we don't, as small business owners, have that luxury. So we have to do other things to stand out from a crowded marketplace. Your thoughts?
That's exactly my plan. And it's funny that you mentioned social media, because that's a part of my presentation that I make. I tell folks, employers are looking at your social media to get to know you. And so you have to be careful, even with what you're putting out to the world. Even when we're just not thinking, people are always watching. A perfect example is why I'm here. I had no idea that Marquita even really paid attention to my business as she did, and I was so honored, by what the wonderful words that she recommended me for the
big time. And I'm like, I got to talk to this Crystal person.
I was like,
if someone's spending this much time endorsing somebody, I'm like, you must be doing something.
Yes, I mean, and that was just eye-opening to me, and more confirmation of what I'm telling other folks, that people are watching you even when you don't even think about it.
Are they receptive to the advice you give?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure some folks might not be. I don't want to be naive.
Yeah, right.
But one lady that is actually sticking out to me, I taught one of the seminars in Culpeper at Germanna Community College.
Cool.
And she was entering the workforce again because she had lost her job after being a part of this company for 25 years. And she felt that she was too old to start searching for a job. She didn't know what to wear because she worked from home. She was,
She was out of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she met with me and we talked, and I could tell like she had so much anxiety. Like you pick up on people's energy. And I'm sure you do
It's one of our
as
skills.
well. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could just tell she felt so defeated already. And she hadn't even went on an interview.
Right.
So my job was not only to put her in clothes that made her feel good.
You give people confidence.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to, right?
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It was really powerful for me to help her build her confidence. And I remember she kept emailing me, asking me tips before she went into the interview. And I kept reassuring her, you have what it takes. You are a beautiful woman. Like, believe in yourself. You got this. You have all of the skills to do this. And she went in there, she nailed it. And now she works for Germanna Community College. So that was a pretty cool success story that kind of sticks out to me and makes this worthwhile of what I'm doing.
That was a success story that needs to be a sizzle reel, my pal Harris. That was money right there from Crystal.
Thank you.
You are crushing it. Tiffany Ross says, "Hey Crystal, this is unbelievable." Tiffany Ross giving you some props
Nelson
right now.
County, thank you.
I see that. You are well liked over there.
She's one of my high school classmates. Awesome.
Let me thank some of the other folks that are giving you some props here. If I have not done it, I want to make sure we get them. Ivar Candy Dow, Holly Lee, Tiffany Fuller, Cora Helton, Latasha Durrett Ward, who I've mentioned, Gail Esterman, and a number of other people. And you guys are sharing the feed. And share the feed for us. This is good.
Candy and I have been friends since kindergarten.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I get the impression once someone is like friends with you, and it's like a lifetime relationship. Because you understand the value of friendship. And then you had like one of those moments where you almost died, probably should have died.
Yeah.
So you have like a true new lease on life.
Absolutely.
And I can sense it. It's
Thank
like
you.
contagious on the set. I have so much, we've already filled 55 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels like 7 minutes. You're
Wow.
crushing it. You're crushing
Thanks,
it.
Jerry.
Let me throw this to you here, and then we'll get into affordable housing. She's a board member at the Piedmont Housing Alliance, the PHA, so she has a lot of perspective to offer. You are in the business of managing personal brands, managing confidence and instilling confidence into folks. Whether that's what they wear, whether that's how they present themselves on social media, whether that's how they present themselves on a one sheet of paper, a resume that is so important in getting a job, or whether that's just what's in between their ears. How do you take the business? What are the 1, 3, and 5 year goals to take the business to another level, now with an extra mouth to feed? And as someone who, I get the impression, likes to be great at everything she does.
I do. I think my first plan is keeping the lines of communication open with my mentors, and also well, I guess you would still be my business mentor. I need to go visit. Oh my gosh, I am having new mom brain right now.
Totally get it.
At the Albemarle Small Business Center.
The CIC?
No, not CIC.
It'll come to you. It'll come to you.
I feel so bad. I'm just like blanking on her name right now. But she's a great business mentor, and I need to,
My wife calls it mom brain.
Yes.
She goes, I just had a son. What was I doing here? Totally get it.
Yes.
Totally get it.
Betty
Betty.
Hogue. Oh my gosh. Woo. Yeah. But I need to meet with Betty and kind of map out all of my plans for Renee's boutique this year. But I have been brainstorming and talking to my husband, and just I really want to tap in more to the image consultant side that I do with Renee's boutique, and it almost like I have to tap into that side because physically I'm not able to do.
You don't have the hours.
Yes.
Yeah. And your time is finite. And if you're able to tap into the image side, then you can do potentially multiple customers at one time.
You got
You
it.
can scale your model to giving seminars and testimonials as opposed to maybe lower margin clothing items.
Yes.
Is that kind of what you know?
That's exactly what
I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
In fact, have you considered Renee's Renee's branding boutique and consultation, like pivoting the name to include the branding and consultation? And I'm just spitballing with you because I think the future of your business is just one man's perspective is the seminars where you could potentially say, all right, it's $150. You're going to be in a class of 10 people, and like the SAT classes, the LSAT classes, come to this place, which could be your boutique headquarters, and I'm going to give a testimonial for 90 minutes on how your social media, your resume, your personal look, and everything else needs to be on point for you to get the job you're going after. And if you really want to vertically integrate your business and take it to the next level, you could totally even do employment placement, where you have these people coming to you looking, a lot of them saying like, how can I get this gig? And then you have the connections with the employers where you can then start placing them, and then you make revenue from the employer that is looking for somebody that's talent to join their workforce. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just love the entrepreneurial stuff. What do you think?
I think that's awesome advice, Jerry. Thank you. And that's something that I love to do, and through networking, through my business, I have met so many wonderful people that I'm actually, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, I do some of that now, and I'm not getting paid for it.
Right. Right, and you should.
Yes, yes, because I have people who will reach out to me and say, hey, Crystal, I have this job opening. Do you know someone? So this is awesome.
I think Renee's branding consultation boutique is going to be an epicenter for image consultation and for job placement in Central Virginia, and you could use your base as Nelson County, because from what I can tell, you're the mayor of Arrington. You're the mayor of Nelson County up in this house with people jumping on board here. So I don't know. I think it would be money. I just like you. I like you're very likable. You have like a very pleasant demeanor to you.
Thank you.
How about the affordable housing piece? I'll set the background.
Okay.
She is a board member at Piedmont Housing Alliance. Now, she told us off air she's taken a couple months off because she has a beautiful son, Micah, that she's getting back into the game after taking some time as she should with her kid. But we'll talk more of the broad strokes.
Yep.
We had Mayor Walker, we had Councilor Heather Hill, Councilor Kathleen Galvin, a gentleman named Michael Payne who works for Habitat for Humanity that's running for City Council. Everyone has said the same thing. We are at affordable housing crisis level. You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Been that way for a while?
Well, that's what I was about to say. I kind of, I've been watching and hearing everyone saying, oh, Charlottesville is an affordable crisis. And it's eye-opening to me that we're just now seeing this. Like, Charlottesville has been an affordable housing crisis. It's extremely expensive to purchase a home in Charlottesville. One of the reasons I joined PHA as a board member was because I know the struggles of being a first-time homeowner. And I purchased my first place at 22. And even though I was working in banking, it was still a challenge, right. It was still a process. It was still hard to find something.
So this was like 2007.
Yeah, 2006, December 2006 is when
I got my first place in 2008, and it was so hard. It's like, give us your firstborn, give us all your tax returns, give us everything, and you might get this loan. And
to find something that was appealing within your price range was my struggle.
My price range was at that time $180,000. I could not find a standalone detached home in the city, and I ended up going to the Villas at Southern Ridge, which was a converted apartment complex that had seen some better days off of Old Lynchburg Road. Now I still own that place; it's a rental property now, but that's all I could afford.
That sounds similar to my situation.
Yeah, it's a condo.
Yeah. That's exactly what I ended up purchasing, and my realtor showed me the villas as well. Luckily, a nice condo that had been remodeled by a developer in Hessian Hills.
Oh, that's a great
available.
spot.
Yeah,
good location.
Yeah.
Is that where you settled?
Well, that's where we settled, but we recently moved to Greene County, but we still have the condo as a rental property as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's a great spot for you. So you saw firsthand, like, if you had a good career, you're a college graduate, you're working at banking, and
I'm struggling.
Right, right. So imagine the folks that don't have the careers,
Exactly.
the college educations. Maybe you're at 30% AMI, area
Yep.
median income.
Yep.
I mean, talk to us about that.
Well, just like you and I are just discussing of how a struggle it was for us, and I feel that folks should be able to have a decent roof over their head, regardless of what your socioeconomic background is, and that is why I'm on the board of Piedmont Housing Alliance, because I see this organization trying to even that playing field.
Cool.
They educate people on their finances, on how to budget, how to create this savings in order to become first-time home buyers. And with, of course, PHA has been in the news and the media about the redevelopment of Friendship Court,
Yep.
which, of course, all of the board members seem to be very passionate around that, because I think it's going to bring a different feel to Charlottesville.
What do you mean?
Because I think a lot of Charlottesville is still very segregated, and I was listening to what Mayor Walker was talking about, the communities that are basically seeing gentrification coming in,
Yep.
And I do realize the history of Charlottesville, of how Vinegar Hill really impacted Charlottesville.
Generational impact.
Yes.
Yeah. Taking away the homes and businesses of the African American community in Vinegar Hill. The homes and businesses are what determines generational wealth.
Absolutely.
So when you take away someone's most prized possession, their home, and then how they make a living, their business, you're probably going to screw some people, and that's
Yes.
exactly what happened.
Exactly. And with this redevelopment, that we continue to go back and forth and make sure that every pieces are in place to not just create more housing, but to build a community in Charlottesville of mixed income, mixed races, that we don't see. We don't see around here. We're still very segregated as a city. And I believe PHA has been around for decades. And it's an organization that I feel passionate that is going to help the city go to the next level.
It seems, and you know much more about this than I do. It seems that when you do, when a municipality like Charlottesville creates subsidized housing or affordable housing, housing where that caters to folks that are below 30% of AMI, area median income, that concept creates segregation in and of itself, because you're saying, all right, you guys are struggling financially, you're going to live here. Then we're going to have diversity over here, diversity over there. What PHA is trying to do with Friendship Court, which is so exciting to me, is creating these single-family detached homes that may sell for $400,000 or $500,000, and having them mixed and integrated and positioned strategically around subsidized housing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is the diversity that you're talking about. Why has this not been in play before? It seems so obvious.
I have no clue, but the thing I really like about PHA is that before we integrate this into Charlottesville, we're doing our research, we're doing our homework, and I wasn't able to go last year, but they took a tour to a mixed income neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, actually in Northern Virginia, I believe, or DC, and to actually go in and see that ground truth of how it's working, and to get the opinions of the folks that are already living there is extremely important, because we don't want to do something, to continue to perpetuate it. We don't want to invest in this community and not be able to sell the market value places, or the people with subsidized housing feel uncomfortable. We want this to work and be very cohesive. So,
how does Friendship Court respond to it? How are the folks in Friendship Court? Are they receptive? Are they excited? Are they trepid? Do they have trepidation because of the history?
So you have a lot of different
viewpoints?
Opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I do love about PHA is that we formed an advisory committee. It's made up of a lot of the residents of Friendship Court. We continue to recruit board members that are Friendship Court residents because we want that input. We want to make sure that this is something that they're comfortable with. We've gotten pushback, of course. A lot of folks are still nervous that it might be a whole nother Vinegar Hill.
Right.
And then we have the folks that are in Friendship Court. Some of them are like, yes, finally, I'm going to be able to live in a place where I won't feel bad to write down my address so people won't judge me.
Right.
So it's a lot of mixed emotions. It's a lot of mixed opinions. But the thing I love that Sunshine and Karen, Sunshine is the CEO, and Karen has been a PHA forever. They're great leaders that believe in keeping that door open.
Love it.
And Claudette is actually on site at the Friendship Court from PHA staff. And so it's an open door policy. So they, at any time, they can ask questions. Our board members, we're on the advisory committee, so they can ask
You're
us
accessible.
questions. Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
And I think it's going to be extremely important in this process to keep the lines of communication open.
Piedmont Housing Alliance just shared this stream. You see it right here.
Oh.
So Sunshine, I'm hearing so much good stuff about Sunshine. I've never met Sunshine, but
okay.
you're like the 12th person that's come on the show that has been like hyping Sunshine. And like, who is this Sunshine person?
I'm still getting to know Sunshine because he's
Sunshine is his last name?
No,
first
that's
name?
his first name.
Okay, Sunshine is okay.
Sunshine
okay.
Mathin.
Okay. Okay. Sunshine, you're welcome. I would love to invite you on the show. Seriously, I would love to get to know you. But
You
please,
should.
yeah.
You should.
If you could
should
facilitate that, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Sunshine, he seems very passionate. He comes from a background where he's already worked in this arena, in the nonprofit arena, which I really like. And he was actually referred by Barbara Brown. As you know, she's a professor at UVA. And I really, respect Barbara, and they were really great friends, and I respect what she's trying to do in the community too, with educating UVA and bringing them on board.
Like, what's UVA's role?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I feel like UVA has
she's
a huge
board
role,
member
right?
of PHA. So yeah.
Do you feel? I mean, I feel like, and I love this conversation here, and I don't often, you clearly know what's going on. I feel like UVA is like underrepresented itself in the community. I mean, UVA needs to like start picking it up and like bring more money to the table from a Charlottesville and Albemarle County standpoint, and get involved more with local issues. Like, one of the things that's coming up is like the West Main streetscape, and like UVA considering not giving money to the West Main streetscape. And it just flabbergasts me, because when moms and dads and students come to Charlottesville to see grounds, they're driving up and down West Main to go from grounds in the corner to the downtown mall. So having a nice West Main streetscape is smart. So where I'm going with this is put UVA to the side. Talk to me about the Friendship Court and the magnitude of this decision, because from the layman's perspective, Friendship Court is in an integral part of land close to the downtown mall. And the downtown mall is clearly migrating to Ix, the south part of Charlottesville. And the Friendship Court plot is going to determine the success of that migration. PHA clearly understands the magnitude of this. Do you think everybody out there understands what's really going on here? Because this is big.
I don't. I think most folks grab bits and pieces of things, and that's typical human behavior. We all have lives. We have a lot of things going on, but I do encourage the community to ask questions, and before we make assumptions and we make up our mind on, I don't think this is right, and they don't, I heard one criticism of PHA was on the Friendship Court was they don't have enough people that are going to make the decisions that look like the residents of Friendship Court. So it showed me that they aren't in tune with what's going on. And we, Sunshine and Karen can speak better from this, but typically, as far as I have seen by being on the board for 4 years, is that this is an organization where we're keeping the lines of communication open, and we want to be honest about our every move, and we want to make the right decisions, not only for the residents of Friendship Court, but to uplift our community here in Charlottesville.
Unbelievable. You were so good. You crushed it. You were so good. 70 minutes we filled with the ease. JW, if you could get up here, sir, and get the screen behind us on point. I want to give you an opportunity to take the show and anything and anything and everything that we missed or needs to be out there. You got a lot of people watching. I want to get attention for your business, how we can find it online, how we can get involved. I want to get attention for PHA. Anything that needs to be out there. Show's yours. That's the camera.
Okay.
We'll turn this into potentially one of the sizzle reels that are approachable, digestible clips from the show. Program is yours, Crystal.
Okay. I would love for folks to shop Renee's. Renee'sBoutiqueLLC.com is my website. And if you are looking for an image consultant to come in and speak to your staff, or if you know of someone who is entering the workforce or looking for a promotion, hit me up. You can reach me at Renee'sBoutiqueLLC@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 434-260-1773, as well as I am a board member of Piedmont Housing Alliance, that I hold, that organization dear to my heart. We are working to create affordable housing. And if you have any questions, I would definitely refer you to the awesome staff at Piedmont Housing Alliance around the affordable housing, because, as I said, I'm getting back into the game, coming off of maternity leave, but I'm really looking forward to this year and just getting back in the community. I missed you guys. So hit me up and shop Renee's.
She is cool cat. And you know what? Because of this interview, Latasha Durrett-Ward, she has come on the stream and said, would you like Sunshine on the show?
Yes.
Let's make it happen.
And I just
responded,
Latasha.
I said yes. Isn't that's what's awesome about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so guys, one of her friends goes to bat for her on social media and says, Crystal is someone that you have to talk to. She's an inspiring entrepreneur. She put so much effort into this that I'm like, if this person's willing to allocate their time into this, I need to get Crystal on here. We get Crystal on the show. We're talking about her as an entrepreneur, her and her business. We talk PHA, and now he's the CEO?
Yes.
Now the CEO of PHA is going to come on the show.
Awesome.
You were solid.
That's what it's all
Did you have
about.
fun?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey,
this has been awesome.
It was our pleasure. I'm like jacked from talking with you, inspired. Seriously. Can you tell? You were awesome.
Thank you. You are too. I mean, you've given me some awesome suggestions of growing my business. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love it. It's my hobby here.
Yes.
Let's thank everybody. I want to thank Crystal for joining us. She made us look better. She truly lived up and surpassed the very high expectations she had coming in here. She hit a grand slam on this program. Sean, you're a lucky, lucky man. And I think you know that, Sean. I want to thank Harris behind the board. Harris, you crushed it today, my boy. Love you, Harris. Judah, you crushed it as well. Thank you, Judah, for the support. On Monday, it's going to be Laura Fauner. She is the executive chef at Dooners. She is got an entrepreneurial journey in front of her, potentially taking over the business. We could talk about that on Monday with Laura Fauner. We also are going to have great food at Dooners. So I cannot wait for Laura Fauner. We have Gerard Smith, who is running for Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. Awesome. Gerard Smith is awesome. I'm excited to see his forum and his platform and to introduce you to a potential Albemarle County Board of Supervisor that I think would be a very, very good fit for the county. We're also going to welcome Sina McGill. Sina McGill is running for Charlottesville City Council. What I'm trying to do with this forum is let you guys know that there's a primary coming up on June 11th, and this Charlottesville primary will go a long way in determining the 3 city council spots that are open. There are 3 city council spots that are open for election, guys. What I'd like for you to do, and it's not about politics, all I want you to do is vote. Just get involved, participate. I want you to know this, that in the last election, 2 councilors, Mayor Walker and Councilor Hill, they won their spots with less than 8,000 votes. There's 50,000 people in Charlottesville. We're saying 20% of the population is determining the people that run the city. Think about that. Participate. Participate. Whole concept of the show is to let you know the positive of Charlottesville and to participate. Encourage you to participate in our community. My name is Jerry Miller. It's Friday. I cannot wait to spend some time with my family. I love you guys. I love to connect with you on this forum. We close the show the same way. Charlottesville, Virginia, please be good to each other, please. We'll see you Monday at 12:30 with Laura Fauner from Dooner's Restaurant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jerry. That was awesome. Thank you.